Thank you to our sponsors, Mike and Salam Gaida, Nabil and Dad Al Mashtoub, Wael and Diana Fayad.
Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast 1017. Today we have a special guest, one that works as a consultant for IBM. His name is Ragheb Halabi. So please, let's give him a warm welcome. Ragheb is going to actually tell us a little bit about what he does, and actually we're going to actually start about how he got into this business, because this is, as you just told me, you've been here for 10 years, so I'm kind of curious, what made you leave Lebanon, or did you come from Lebanon, and how did you get started,
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Hadil. I'm excited to be with you guys today as well. So my name is Ragheb Halabi, and I studied civil engineering at the American University of Beirut in Lebanon. My passion for the built environment for construction started maybe when I was in high school. So I decided to go this route for my college degree, and afterwards I wanted to move to either the UK or the US. I did do an internship in the UK while I was at the American University of Beirut, but I ended up here in Austin, Texas, at the University of Texas.
Big difference.
I did my I did my grad school in construction engineering and project management. And I fell in love in Austin, to be honest. I tried to stay here for work, but I moved to Houston for my first job, and it was in engineering and construction for the oil and gas industry. Houston is a great city as well. I worked in that industry for about 6 years. Throughout that time, I was exposed to different areas within project management. Started as a technical engineer, as a structural engineer at the beginning. 2 years later, moved into more of a project engineering position, and then after that, project management position. So it was a nice big exposure to mega projects. And then at some point, I realized, okay, I want to try something new. I didn't want to limit myself to just this specific industry, even though I love it. But I noticed that there are a lot of problems that have been occurring throughout the years within this industry that not a lot of people are focusing on solving, instead of just trying to keep doing business as usual. And then at that point, I looked into my options, and I was able to get this current job within IBM. So from engineering and construction to a technology company, a civil engineer, what am I doing here? So basically, I work in trying to apply new technologies that big companies like IBM and others are investing heavily in, but they don't have the specific vision of how to apply those technologies to all of the industry. So that's why IBM and other consulting companies hire people with an industry experience to be able to kind of bridge that gap and provide solutions focused on specific industries.
So if you can share, I mean, what are certain things that you guys are trying to improve on? Or maybe rather, like you said, there's a certain things that you saw that globally, I guess, needs to be fixed, and that's why you're building things. Are there certain things you can share that you do to help that or make a movement towards?
Yeah, sure. So maybe we can talk about the specific industry trends within engineering and construction. It's basically an area that, excuse me, that touches everyone, right? We live in houses, we drive the roads, the bridges, we use the offices and the buildings that this industry builds. We use the oil and gas that this industry builds the refineries and offshore platforms for. So we can talk a little bit about those issues, and then or trends, and then at the same time the other extreme, where the most cutting edge technologies that are being developed in technology companies, and then how we can bridge that gap. So to start with, for trends generally, the engineering and construction industry, it's just every project is complicated, unique, and new, right? So even if you're trying to replicate the exact same building, the soil might be different, so you have to do different foundations. That's like the extreme. So most of the time, you're building stuff from scratch. You're hiring labor that is that are new to your company, because you have one project in this state, one project in this country. You can't just have this huge amount of labor move with you. So you're hiring new people all the time, which affects the learning curve. It's always starting from scratch.
And sorry to interrupt. Is this only in the US, or is a global thing?
That's a global trend for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure we can scale those trends globally.
Okay.
The second more important trend we see as well is that those companies are operating on very low profit margins.
Mm.
So a good, huge major capital projects company, if they make 5% profit, that's a good year. They operate sometimes at 1 to 2%. They barely make money. They have huge revenues and then no profit. It's just going away due to their vulnerability. They are very vulnerable to, like, if commodity prices change, then they don't have work anymore. If there are new regulations for urban development, that could affect them. So it sounds like anything that happens within the economy is somehow being reflected and affecting this specific industry. Also, very interesting trend is that the productivity for building things has decreased over the last 50 years. So imagine, with everything that happened in this world, today we do things slower on the construction site or in an engineering office than we used to do it 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago, compared to manufacturing, for instance, who has increased by about 150, 160% productivity throughout the last 50 years. So if something used to take 2.5 hours to make in a factory, today we can do it in an hour.
Wow.
Same thing on the construction site. If it used to take 2.5 hours, it takes 3 hours today. So huge issue. Productivity is the biggest issue that is causing somehow the rest of the trends as well with regards to profit margins and others. And also safety continues to be a huge focus, because obviously you want your people safe, right? You don't want to harm anyone. You don't want to harm the environment. And at the same time, if there are issues that happen with safety, you have more regulations on you, which affect your productivity. And also there's a direct link to cost, right? So safety continues to be super important. And the last trend is, among the other low rankings for this industry, is digitization. So with a recent study by McKinsey and Company, they ranked engineering and construction as the not the lowest, just the second lowest out of 25 industries. They looked into over the economy in terms of digitization. How much digital, how much automation, how much robotics are being applied to this industry. They're at the
Wow, they're the lowest. Wow.
Lowest, yeah. Well, second lowest. The very lowest is agriculture and hunting, and there's just construction is just next, right? Everything else they've done better over the years.
That's crazy. And so you would expect engineering being to be on the top, because that's your thing. You're always creating and solving problems to make things more efficient and productive. So it's
true. True. There has been advancements in technology just for engineering, with building information modeling, with 3D 3D models, and trying to integrate a digital twin, creating a digital twin where you build something and at the same time you build something virtually so you can see what's happening. But the whole integration of project execution hasn't happened at all. You get some good engineering improvement, but nothing is being enforced on the construction site and the supply chain and the logistics and the startup for those projects. So overall, it's the ranking is low.
Wow, interesting. So then my question to you is, what would you like to see future engineers bring to the table as they are graduating and coming to these big companies to be innovative with their ideas and really tackled on these trends? What would you like to see from the youth coming in?
For sure, yeah. So for newcomers to the industry, obviously we live in different times today, right? We're exposed to different technologies.
Right.
For me, when I just started in this area, it was always about, you learn how has been done and you do it the same way or better, but it's not like, hey, think outside the box or try to do it differently, more efficiently. It's always this push back to just, that's how we do it. We've done it before many times, and it works, so we're going to continue doing it the same way. But what I would challenge the newcomers to this industry is, no, don't accept that, right? don't think that your ideas are irrelevant. Don't just limit yourself to what your predecessors have done, or the career moves that they have taken, right? At the end of the day, technology is going to be integrated to every industry. We're working specifically today within IBM and other companies that also focus on technology consulting and applying it to industries to transform, right? And that transformation is happening. It must happen also from the youngest generation, the newest blood within that industry.
I love it. I love it. It's really encouraging because it does seem as if it's needed, and to bring young, bright, and a lot of energy to the table, I think the youth can really do a lot for that. Talk to me a little bit more about why specifically you chose, why do you like working for IBM? How about that? Let's talk. Can we talk about that? What have you found?
Of course.
I just want to make sure, but I would like to know why you chose IBM over other bigger companies to work for them and to really help innovate and tackle on these trends, these global trends.
Yeah. I love working for IBM because they have, over the years, they have created the idea, the most bold ideas. Even though today we've got huge respect for Google, Amazon, and other huge technology companies that are creating those amazing ideas from a consumer perspective. IBM throughout the years have consistently created the boldest ideas and applied it to industries, and that's the most interesting thing to me. They come up with they are the market share leader in artificial intelligence today. They have the most successful use cases for the application of blockchain and open ecosystems, and also and other technologies. But they do really well with focusing on creating the best ideas, but taking it further and customizing it to different industries, and empowering their people to think outside of the box, innovate, and reach out to their clients or to the people that they know and their network within that industry that share the same views, and start discussions about how can we transform. It's not about creating one amazing solution and selling it to all of our clients. The industry doesn't work this way. We work with each one of our clients to partner with them to understand their problems and provide unique solutions for their specific problems.
I love that. That's really great that you work for a company like that, because you just something very powerful. They empower their people, right? And I think when you start empowering your people, you give them the opportunity to be leaders in their own field or their own role, right? And whatever they're assigned to, right? And any client that they're working with. So I love that because, and it's not, like you said, not cookie cutter. So it's really just, let's figure out what their problem is specifically, find that solution, and it's going to be different than most, right? So I really like that company, that IBM really focuses on that. It's very inspirational, and also many of the engineers who are probably listening to this are probably like, okay, maybe I should apply to IBM.
Yeah, for sure. I would just add to the point before, when you asked me about the newcomers. It's important to get the best industry experience, to look to understand specifically how the industry works, and once you gain a few years of this industry experience, now you got to apply your innovation on top of what you've learned, and that's where companies like IBM can help in prospering those new ideas.
Well, then how can they, my question is, what can they do before, let's say, they graduate, and try to basically prepare themselves for when they do graduate from college and they are looking to work for really bigger companies? If you could go back in time and you were your like 21-year-old self or a 20-year-old self, what advice would you give the youth to prepare themselves to go into bigger companies so they know they can get a position with them? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, maybe the simplest idea I have here would be not to limit yourself to what you're learning through the curriculum, because also the way the college degrees are operate today still are lacking a little bit of the latest technologies. It takes years to get integrated into the classes and and whatnot. Some universities do better than others, but it's always up to the individual, up to the student to research more, to attend extracurricular presentations, or reach out basically to the the specific teams within your college
Mhm.
that provide additional knowledge on the technology. And we have worked with many, actually, we do work with many universities in the US
Okay.
to help educate about artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, and the newest technologies. So if they're interested in those opportunities, I could help link them to the right individuals, at least from our company, and they could we could see where and which colleges are adopting this, or have this option for their students.
I love that. That's actually really great because I think that's going to help a lot of the engineers going into college really prepare for the future, because we're so good at studying, but at the end of the day, it's really about the experience you're getting outside of school. I think, especially as an engineer, to really bring something to the table for a bigger company to say, hey, actually, we really want him on the team, you know? So I think that'd be wonderful. So if anyone's listening to this, I think definitely reach out to Ragheb. I think he's going to be able to help you a lot.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I'd love to.
My next question for you is I'm actually curious, kind of straying a little bit away from what you do professionally, but what I would say, were there any fears going into this, working for a big company and really being innovative? Were there any fears going into it to give you the power to really say your opinion and execute on it?
Um, yeah, there's always fear, and I think the source of this fear could be two different sources. First is your internal fear about, okay, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm about to submit my resignation from a company that have put a great trajectory for me to grow with them, and
Hmm.
then I'm just telling them that, hey, I'm going to a technology company. What the hell, right? So internally, you're a little
Right.
bit doubting yourself,
Mm.
but you can overcome that by, if you've trained yourself to be in situations that you haven't done before, and trust yourself that you're able to overcome it. And I've already built that feeling from before, throughout working for my previous employer within the engineering and construction industry. I always every year I just either get promoted or move to another area within the project so that I could
Mm.
learn something new. So that fear has always been with me, but I would overcome it when I can prove to myself that, whatever happens, I'm going to learn and I'm going to be okay and I'm going to
Right.
actually prosper. That's the first thing. The second source is the people around you that they
Hmm.
would doubt. And I wouldn't blame, because, like I said, different industries also, or different people that you work with, they've done it a certain way years ago, and they would actually be surprised if you're doing it differently.
Hmm.
So I also had this doubt from my mentors, from the people that really didn't want me to quit, for instance, from my previous employer. And I wanted to. I told them that, now is the time. If I want to innovate, I want to change something within how we do, then that's my opportunity, and I want to pursue it. So yeah, the fear is always there. It's just you just know that you're going to be able to overcome it, and you're going to be doing great.
I like that because it's really showing that overcoming fear is more of a practice, right? So it's like something I always say, if you want to be courageous, you just got to keep doing courageous things every day. Little by little will add up and become bigger. And then you start doing more courageous things that are bigger than what you've done before, right? So it's just really, how should I say, training your mind and your body to really adapt to something on a consistent basis. So when something does come your way that if you weren't ready for it, right, you're never going to be ready. But if you weren't prepared, let's just say, you wouldn't know how to overcome it. And so I really love that because it's showing that you don't really get comfortable. You really try to change it up and consistently attack those fears one by one versus just letting them sit and think and like wonder what I'm gonna do. So I like
Yeah,
that a lot.
there is a saying actually within IBM, is that the moment you get comfortable in your job, you become irrelevant,
Mm, that's
right?
true. That's
Yeah,
very true.
because you've done it, then you're continuously repeating what you've done.
Right.
Then what is your value, right? I mean, your value is there, but you're gonna be more prone to competition or to smarter ideas.
Right. You're not really contributing to the future in any way or the growth of the company. I love that. That's very powerful. It looks like you're in a good place then. If anyone's considering IBM, definitely talk to him, because he'll know how to kind of help you get there. So I love that. Well, we're close to the end of our interview, but I do ask one question to every guest on the show, and I'm hoping that you can answer this one for me. And the question is, what's one truth you found on your path to success?
One truth is that just follow your passion and don't be afraid to think outside of the box, because things will work out perfectly for you. Don't worry about what other people tell you, because sometimes they are limited to what they have experienced in their life, which is, people really try to give the best advice, and that's always super appreciated. But at the same time, you are the most responsible for your success, and follow your sometimes your feelings or instinct, and it's going to get you to the best place. Don't be afraid of bold ideas. Just get out to this world and try to change it.
I love it. Thank you, Raghav. That was great advice. That was great. A lesson to be learned from you rather than advice. I hate saying that. But thank you very much. I'm really happy to have you on the show. I'm really happy to give
advices, of course. Yeah.
Yes. That's something that's very hard to do, but I'm happy that you were able to at least share your truth. And if whatever anyone else can take from that, take it with a grain of salt and really apply it to your life as well. So thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you for just sharing with us what you do. I think it's very inspirational, and to hear how an engineer is able to be innovative in his own workspace is phenomenal to me. So I really wish you the best. And on behalf of Podcast 1017, thank you very much. One last thing though, where can we find you? If someone has any questions or wants to ask you anything, is an email better for you, or a LinkedIn, or?
LinkedIn actually would be great. Not many Ragheb Halabis over there, so I think you'll be able to find me easily. I'm active on LinkedIn, and I would love to connect with anyone that is have any questions, or just become friends. And I'm here for discussing any ideas that you guys might have as well. And Hadil, thank you so much for organizing this. It's a pleasure talking to you, and also you shared some of your experience as well. So thank you.
Of course. I'm happy to do it. Anyways, guys, stay tuned for the next episode. And, if you need anything, Raghav is right there for you. Just find him on LinkedIn, and we'll put the link below as well. All right. Have a good one. Thank you, Raghav.
Thanks.